Alright, so I recorded this tutorial already and somehow it didn't save and crashed on me, so we're going to do it again and hopefully this time it works. So we've got After Effects open. We're going to go, so now we have to import our scanned images. So to do that, you go up to File, Import, and then you go to File here, right there. You're going to find wherever you saved your folder. Mine is under Nikki Tutorial here, saved in my pictures. So I'm going to select the first frame of the animation, and then I'm going to make sure that Import as Footage is selected here. And I'm also going to make sure that PNG Sequence is selected here, because we're importing a sequence of images into After Effects. So it'll be one giant bundle. So then I'm going to hit Open, and under here, these are all my drawings that we just imported. So I'm going to just right-click and drag those down here to this gray area in the timeline, and then boom, that's going to pop up all our drawings. So if we scrub down here, we can see all of our animation. Cool. So next step is we want to make these black lines actually white lines. So to do that, we go up to Effect, and down in this menu we're going to look for Invert, which is under Channel. So you go to Channel, and you go to Invert, select Invert, and then boom, that flops all the drawings, so now it's white. And I'm going to show you how to do this so that you don't have to scan or you're going to have to scan all the drawings, but I'm pretty sure that it's still going to have a white background on it. And the only way to get rid of that is you have to go into Photoshop and select and delete the white out, and you have to do that for every frame, and it's just a nightmare to do. So instead of doing that, we're going to do it inside of After Effects. So we've got this done. Our next step is going to be getting rid of this black here. But even before we do that, let's go ahead and put the blue background in. And to do that, you're going to go under Layer, New, and you're going to select Solid. That's going to pop up this window here where you'll have a color picker, and this is where you select the blue that I'm using. So you just click in there, and I've already got it selected. So to make sure that yours is the right shade of blue, you've got these RGB values here, 1, 2, 3. Make sure that first one, R is 76, G is 76, and B is 164. Select OK. OK here. So now that made a layer on top of our animation layer here. So we're going to take this and drag it underneath our animation. So we don't see the blue yet, but we will. So next step is we're going to go back up on this layer that our animation frames are on, and we're going to select it. Make sure you have that selected. And then we're going to go to Composition, no, sorry. Let's see, Effects, and we're going to go to Keying, and under Keying, we're going to go to Luma Key. So select Luma Key. That's going to pop you into this window over here, right in this area, and under Threshold, you're going to drag this value up. You can't go too high, because see, it starts to completely obliterate. So you got to kind of find the sweet spot with that. So once you're kind of happy with what you landed on, I'm at like 82. You're going to then want to add the glow effect. And to add the glow effect, we go to Effects up here at the top, and we're going to go to generate, and we're going to select CC light burst. So when I do that, boom, we've got a glow. We can scrub through, and we see it glowing. It looks awesome. So the other thing you're going to want to do is, so this is all like really blurry. It's really cool and it looks awesome, but we want some of our crispness of our line to show up. So to do that, we're going to go down here where our frames are. We're going to select it, and then we're going to hit Control D. That duplicates that layer. So on this one, this top layer, I don't want this to be all blurry, so I'm going to go under these effect controls, and because this is an exact copy of that other layer, it's got that light burst on it. So we're going to select the light burst and just delete it. So now we've got a little more crispness in our line. You can see the edges of those plugs better, but we've also got like some grayish black lines here, and to fix that, we're going to go back into this Luma Key and just kind of drag those values until we find a nice sweet spot. We're also going to, you don't want to play with this edge thin, sorry. Let's see if these do anything. Sorry, I'm just doing a little experimenting as I go. See what kind of results we can get with this. Yeah, it's not going to work. So we'll keep that how it was before. And we're just going to turn up that threshold, so just so we get some more tighter edges on our line. Then if I do a little preview of that, you'll see the glow effects working. And that's all default settings for the actual glow that we're using. So you can kind of see what's happening here. So you'll also notice right now my animation is playing really fast, and that's because I forgot a step, and that's the step of once you import your frames, which are under this project tab. If you click on that, that's where we originally started. What you guys are going to want to do is right click on that and go to interpret footage and go to main, and right now After Effects is assuming that the frame rate is 30 frames per second. That's why it's playing so fast. We're animating on 12 frames per second, so you're going to want to change that to 12 and then say OK. And then you'll notice here like how we've got this extended. That's because we've shortened the frame amount of or the frame rate. So we want to grab these and drag them all the way down now. So now when I hit preview and we look through this, hold on, it's calculating. We'll just look at this one little section. So now it's playing the way that I originally animated it at, which was on 12 frames per second. So next step is this blue background. It's so we've got the right shade of blue, but it's just this flat computery color blue, and I wanted to add some graininess to that. So it's really simple to do. We just go down to our layer, this medium solid. This is where our blue layer is that we created. And you're going to make sure that's selected, and then you're going to go up to Effect and go to Noise and Grain, and you're going to select Add Grain. Then that's going to give you this little box where you can kind of see what that grain is going to look like. It's not doing it out here yet, but it is showing you in this box. So to make it show on the entire area of blue, we're going to go over to this Effects tab where we just created the Add Grain, which is right here, and we're going to go under viewing mode right here, and it's under preview. That's why we see the little box. If you select this arrow and select final output, then it puts the graininess all on top of the blue. And what this little effect does is, for one, it makes it feel less computery, but it also has these tiny little dancing grains moving that we get for free. And if you do a little preview of that, we'll just do a couple more frames, and then we'll stop. Now, if you look at that background, we've got like just a little bit of noise happening there, and it just kind of matches our scribbly lines a bit better, so it's less of a stark change between the two. And that's pretty much it for the glow. That's what I did. This way, or this approach, will allow you to, like I said earlier, not have to worry about your scans having a transparency behind them. I had forgot that when I'm working on the computer, I automatically get that transparent background, but because you guys are drawing by hand and scanning them in, you don't get that. But I don't think that it'll be too much of a difference in the final output. This is pretty close to what I've got, and we can always do some little tweaks in After Effects to kind of blend the two together, should we have to. While I'm on here, I'm just going to show you quickly how I export this stuff, how I export a movie, in case you guys didn't know. To do that, we go to Composition at the top here, and we select Make Movie. Then you'll notice it added this new Render Queue tab. It's got the name of my frames here, and then under Best Settings, you're going to select that. That's going to pop up this Render Settings window. So right now, the current size should be 1920 by 1080. So don't pay attention to this. It should be 1920 by 1080. But over here, this is something you do want to pay attention to. Make sure that, again, it's always wanted to export out at 30 frames per second. So make sure you select Use This Frame Rate, and you change this to 12. And then just hit Enter. And that should be good to go. Under that is a little tab called Lossless. You're going to want to select that, and that's going to pop up this window here. This is where you pick what you're going to export. So if it's going to be a QuickTime, which is what I've been doing, you just go to QuickTime Movie, select that, and then under Format Options, you're going to click that and make sure you're using MPEG Video for your compression. And frames per second, again, is at 30. Make sure you change that to 12, and then just say OK. Oh, actually, you don't need to worry about the frame rate in that, because we've already changed it in that render settings dialog. So don't worry about that. Just click on this. Make sure that this is set to MPEG 4, and that's all you gotta do. Make sure the quality is at best, and then go OK. We don't have any audio yet for this, so I'm sure eventually we will, but I'm just not going to worry about that right now. Say OK. And then over here, the output 2, we've got Glow Tester Movie.mov. That's what we're making as a QuickTime. I'm going to click on that, and that's basically where you're going to save your movie. And I always throw mine on my desktop. As you can see, it's already saving as a movie. So then I would hit save. And then to finally get this going, you would hit this button here to the right called render. and then you would just wait for that to do the final output. So I just wanted to touch on that. I'm sure some of you already know that process, and I know Matthew for certain does. Excuse me, I'm still getting over a cold. So I think that's it. I hope this is helpful to you guys, and have a good day.